All right, APUSH, I'm going to explain your final project options here. So the goal is for you to watch this before Monday, so that way you kind of have a good idea what you're going to do. You really have two options. We've got, both of them have to do with local history. I think it's really cool at this point in the year to just kind of, now that you guys have studied studied U.S. history, see how Cleveland fits into this. And there's really, we're kind of lucky in that we live in a city that's got so much history to it. I know some of my friends that teach on the West Coast, they just don't have that. There's not a local connection to a lot of the events we're talking about. But Cleveland's founding in the late 1700s really does kind of bode well for this project, because we can look at pretty much every major event in U.S. history and find a tie just down the street from us. So that's what I want you guys to do, so you kind of look around you and you see that history is everywhere. So we've got two options here. This first one on Cleveland Historical, I'm really going to recommend you use a partner, and I'm even going to let you do a team of 3 just because we're a little short on time. The other one we're going to do is a little better if you just want to do it on your own. So for this one, I know you guys understand the Cleveland Historical app. You might want to go there, clevelandhistorical.org. Check it out. You can take tours. You can search for something specific. So let's say you want to take a tour of music history, because that's fun, right? Click on that. And what they've done is they've put together all the different pins on the map that have to do with Cleveland history. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you can check out that has to do with history of specific topics. So basically for this option, you would want to do something in Rocky River, Lakewood, Bay Village, Cleveland, anywhere local that has a tie into history. So I'm going to explain what the actual project entails here, if I can get to the project. Let's see. Sorry, my toolbar is being covered up. Nope, that's not it. Oh dear. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, so here's our final project. Now the goal here is for you to make something that's quality enough that it's going to be on the app. And as far as we know, we're one of the only apps that is actually where you can submit student work to, and a research app, which is kind of cool. It's kind of exciting. So basically, I've teamed up with a couple guys at Cleveland State, Mark Thibault and Aaron Bell, who are kind of the brains and the technology behind Cleveland Historical. And they've come up with a bunch of ideas of places they would like to see on the app. These are not the only places. There's definitely other options as well. Sometimes you guys come up with great ideas that we didn't think about. So let me explain what I'm going to ask you to do, though. We are a little short on time, so I am adjusting what I'm going to expect out of you versus last year, because they basically had an extra week on you. So understand that. But what we want to do is we want you to think about how to tell the story of your particular location that you want to choose in a non-literal way. Why is it not just a building? What's gone on there within the past year, 10 years, 50 years, even 100 years, depending on what you pick. You wanted to think about the story that can be told in your location. So try to go beyond just what you can easily find. You want to dig in and tell a story here. Really, how do you see American history reflected in your location? There's a lot of places in Cleveland that have been around for a long time, and think of it almost as there's ghosts there, and what would they say to you about who's walked in these doors, who's stood in this room? So what voices can you hear there? Here's the thing that we're going to have to really get on. You want to go to your location sometime in the next week and a half here and take some digital pictures. The sooner the better, because we want some pictures of your location today in your final product, and we want some pictures of your location from history. So we want both of those. You want pictures that help narrate your story, though. So think about that when you're taking pictures. Kind of be a photographer and don't just take a picture of the outside. Take it from a different perspective. Take it from standing in that doorway looking out or looking in. If you can, now this is going to be tough for us, but do the best you can to arrange for some audio. Okay, we do have the ability to loan out the iPads. Obviously, you're going to sign a contract saying that you will have to give up your right arm if anything happens to it, but you want to contact for sure the Historical Society in whatever city you've got. That can be done Monday, by email or by phone call. You want to try to get a hold of somebody who knows the history of the place. And this is going to be tricky for us, but we'll do the best we can, and I will help you with that. Cleveland Public Library's Plain Dealer Archives is awesome. It goes back to, I think, 1853, all the Plain Dealer archives. Last year, my team that was doing Sherwin-Williams, Anna Stanton, she was working on that, and she found the day in the Plain Dealer when Sherwin-Williams Company was created, and they had an article announcing it. How cool is that? That's really awesome. That would be a great photo to put in your final product. So that's a great place to start, and I can show you how to do that as well. But primary sources should really be your main research tool. Interviews, plain dealer, photographs, okay? The Historical Society in Rocky River has a ton of photographs. You email their president, he will give you the photographs. So you've got a lot of resources out there that are going to help you do this work, okay? And I can definitely point you in the right direction depending on what project you choose. So I've got other websites. I will help you. Bottom line is you're not alone on this, okay? And that's what librarians and that's what historical societies are there for. They're there to help you do the research. So just keep that in mind. Model your site after sites that are already on the app. So do a little searching this weekend. Check it out. See what's already on there. See kind of what you're going for. I'm going to get together a rubric. I have to adjust it a little bit for us this year. What basically happens here is if you do the basic requirements, that's a C, okay? If you really go above and beyond presenting the historical context, you've got some oral history in there, you've got an oral narrative, you've got historical pictures, that's what it's going to take to get an A. But it's not hard. And I think if you talk to anybody who did it last year, they'll tell you, they can give you some pointers, they can tell you what to do. You want to submit your work through Google Docs to me no later than Thursday, May 30th. We'll share them on the 30th and Friday the 31st. And if we really need to, if those dates don't work or something, we can always pick a time sometime the following week when you're already here, and you can come in and share it with me. So worst case scenario, that's what we'll do. We're just a little short on time. So here's some ideas of things that you could choose from. Okay, these are just a few ideas. Some of these haven't been done. We've got the Christian Science Fifth Church, Duck Island, which is a neighborhood, Newburgh Rolling Mill, the Cleveland Zoo. We've got the West Side Hotel. Izzy Hoskins and Emma McGorry, I think, did that one last year. Did an awesome job. The big pink building, that's what I'm talking about. Really famous people have stayed there. And they've got pictures of it too. And, we have a time capsule that we found in Rocky River from 1949 that we found we were digging for the new science wing. That would be an awesome story to do, and you don't even have to leave this building, so that would be really cool. We've got some places in Lakewood, Winterhurst Ice Rink. I know I got some hockey players here in the house, so that would be kind of a fun thing to do. Cleveland sports has a ton of history. I mean, Larry Doby broke the color barrier in the American League in 1947. That would be a really cool story to tell. So there's a lot. I had a team last year, I'm trying to think who it was Heather Bonsky, I think, and Isa Quinones, and they did Beardens, and they did a great job on that. Nobody did the White Oaks last year. I thought that would have been an awesome one. It's a speakeasy from the, Prohibition era, and it's in Westlake. Again, it's not far. You could get there. I'm sure you can even ride your bike if you can't drive. It's really not far. It's on Cahoon Road. They've got tons of pictures all over the walls. I'm sure whoever is the manager there can definitely help you out. I had a team do Mally's. They did an awesome job. Vitamix was so helpful, and they have a really cool story. Sherwin-Williams. I put here, I added a few this year, like Cleveland's growing food scene. Michael Simon, I don't know if we could get a hold of him, but I think Cleveland is really making its mark as a new kind of foodie town with the food trucks, and, there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. Gordon Square is another area that's really, really grown lately. I know the Yellow Cake Shop, for those of you that are interested in fashion, Valerie Mann, who was on Project Runway, she owns a little shop in the corner of West 65th in Detroit, and I'm a huge fan. Love it there. I wish I could afford everything. She'd be a wonderful interview, a really cool interview, because she's chosen to be where she is and stay there, and I think that's what you really want to tie in the Cleveland tie here. Let's see what else. Oh, this is kind of a fun one. I've had a group do this before. The Nike Missile Defense System that was set up at Tri-City Park. Classic Cold War era right there. City Hall has a ton of documents. You could just go in, and I'm sure they'd let you photocopy, take pictures of. Last year, I had Angie Martai and Tuia Montgomery do a great one on Elliot Ness and the torso murders in Cleveland, which was kind of interesting. Sam Shepard, I had a team, I think it was Tom Robanal and might have been Eric Berea and Hawkins Sawyer. Look at the Sam Shepard murder trial in Bay Village, and the Bay Historical Society was great, and they gave them awesome audio and a ton of pictures. So these are just a few ideas of things that you could do. Okay, that's just a few. You might think of other things where you're like, oh, there's this cool place that might have a good history that I know of, or, my parents work here. I know someone who works here, and this has a cool story. So this is the Cleveland historical option of the project. Really, the possibilities are endless, and ideally, I think you're going for something that would make the app, and you would be published. That's pretty awesome for being in 10th grade and already being published. So that's what you're going for, highly recommended you do this with a partner or with one other person. So this is your first option. I'm going to explain the entrepreneur option project, which is for a partner or by yourself. I'm going to explain that in a separate little video. So think about this, think about maybe what you might want to do, and I will see you Monday.